live from NRG parking lot, from the tail lot as usual. Just checking in before the game starts today with Miami coming into town to face the Houston Texans. So, a lot to get to in a very short amount of time. Get to what we can. Usually these things are only about 5 minutes long. But just a lot of roster shuffling occurring on the Houston side in the past 36 hours or so. A lot of news coming down, so try to hit it all. So first off, Christian Harris is back, was activated to the active roster from injured reserve. Will we see a full slate of snaps from him today with no Aziz in the roster due to his suspension? They don't play the same position, so I'm not entirely confident that we'll see a full slate for Christian Harris today. Maybe he's on a snap count or something like that, right? Maybe he's on a pseudo pitch count. Neville Hewitt will probably be the Mike linebacker today. He has fulfilled that role earlier this season when Alshire was out with injury. I'm a little concerned with Hewitt's lack of speed, sideline to sideline, and horizontal coverage with the amount of crossers and mesh concepts and bang 8 routes that Miami runs to try to create some space, try to create some confusion at the middle of the field, and that's a kind of a hot spot for Miami. So going to put a lot of stress on that Mike linebacker spot. Definitely see how that shakes out, especially with Jonnu Smith being a very versatile tight end, having basically a career year for him. So I'm curious to see how the linebacker situation comes out. If Harris does come on the field, we'll just kind of wait and see what happens. Maybe he comes in as the Will side and Toa comes off the field, or we have seen Toa play the Sam last year. So maybe they, run some base formations with 3 linebackers and have Harris on the Will and Toa on the Sam, and of course, like we talked about, Hewitt in the middle there. So be interesting to see how all that shakes out. But I just feel like, based on put it this way, if Alshire was on this roster today and not on suspension, I'm not entirely confident that Harris would have been activated today. The team did have 2 open roster spots. They only filled 1, so they're actually running a 52-man roster at the moment. So we'll just kind of wait and see how that shakes out. We'll watch the player warm-ups. I'm sure you'll see plenty of posts on Twitter or wherever else you follow on how the warm-ups are shaking out and what the lineup looks like pre-game. Make sure you're following me at TexansCap on X. And then next up was the big roster shuffling. Well, not so much roster shuffling, but starting lineup shuffling with the offensive line. Sorry, I got distracted. Somebody was saying hi. So it was leaked out on an initial report from Aaron Wilson at @AaronWilson_NFL on X that they're going back to moving Mr. Titus Howard from right tackle back to left guard. So this is straight up what they feel is the best 5 on the field. Blake Fisher, rookie, is going to be starting at right tackle, so there's going to be a lot of pressure on him, a lot of eyes on him today to see what his growth has looked like compared from now till 6 weeks ago, where we saw him play a few snaps. It's going to be interesting because Miami does have a very good pass rusher in Chop Robinson. I'm not entirely sure if they activated Bradley Chubb. I didn't check their transactions or not, but that's going to put a lot of stress on Fisher today. So maybe we see, some chips out of the backfield with Mixon and Dare. Maybe we see Schultz or Irv Smith kind of lining up on that side of the formation to help with blocking. And just be, kind of wait and see. But this really is just a straight up best 5 that they feel for this offensive line. We've seen Titus Howard at left guard. We saw it a lot last year. It's not the most optimum solution, but I'm not entirely sure what's better. I mean, because Kenyon Green wasn't activated, so I think that they were, this team is very hesitant to bring back players from injured reserve and throw them straight into the game. Christian Harris, I think, is just a necessity of roster composition, but But what I'm really interested in is why Kendrick Green is not getting a chance to play left guard. Is Titus Howard a better guard than Kendrick Green? Obviously, the team thinks so, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's something going on in meetings. I don't know if there's something off the field that we're just not aware of or where I'm just not privy to. But obviously, this team thinks that this is the best lineup, so we have to trust the coach's decision and go from there. This Miami team is not a huge pass rush threat, but overall, they're a solid defense. And Weaver's over there, the defensive coordinator, so Houston fans are actually pretty familiar with him. So kind of curious to see how this offensive line shakes out. We'll watch it today. Watch Blake Fisher at the right tackle, see how he's manning up, see how he's managing. Do they start giving him help early and then kind of back off the help as he gets more confidence, or do they just throw him straight into the wolves and see what happens, throw him into the deep side of the pool, and if he needs help, then adjust from there. And then lastly, news this morning, started last night, Cade Stover is out today, had an emergency appendectomy. Prayers to him. Hopefully he has a quick recovery. Great job by everyone involved to identify that, because that can be a serious situation if it's not addressed right away. And from there, Irv Smith was elevated, which is not a huge surprise. I think he was going to be elevated even if Cade Stover was active today, because they've been running that. They've had him elevated to give a third tight end. So today they're only going to be running with two tight ends. So it's going to be a lot of snaps for Dalton Schultz and a lot of snaps for Irv Smith, especially with the blocking like we talked about. So we'll see how all this goes. But it's just unfortunate situation. Those things you just can't predict. You can't help them. There's nothing, the team, you just, pray for Stover and hopefully has a good speedy recovery. It sounds like the team already feels he's going to make a full recovery, and I don't know what the timeline or turnaround is for an appendectomy. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 days and he's ready to go, or if he's potentially missing games. So we'll have to take a look at that. But hopefully he's doing well, and hopefully he can watch the game from wherever he's at. And then just kind of some overall thoughts for the game. This team's coming off the bye week. All eyes are going to be on this offense. All eyes are going to be on Bobby Sloak and the plays he's calling, and all eyes are going to be on C.J. Stroud to see if he can kind of circle back to what we as fans know that he can be as a quarterback in this league. Jalen Ramsey is going to probably be following Nico Collins today, so that'll be a fun matchup to watch. But just the overall offensive performance, their efficiency, and how they can manage this Miami defense, I think it's just going to be a fun game to watch. There's a lot of pressure on this team as a whole to make sure I wouldn't call this a must-win, but given the slate of games left, this is a must-win. I said I wasn't going to call it that. I'm going to call it that, because if you don't win this game, and then you got the Ravens and the Chiefs, this can get ugly quick. On the flip side, if the team does win today, and Denver does us a favor and beats the Colts today, then the division's locked down. Playoffs are locked, and kind of pseudo-coast the rest of the way, because I'm not even entirely sure that this team would have a shot at the 3rd seed. So, in my eyes, that's just a big, big game from that front. Miami started off the season slow. They're on the upwards trend, whereas Houston's kind of just a sideways arrow, maybe trending downwards a little bit. So it's a big opportunity here for this team to really show out, come off the bye, show what they can do, and from there try to get the W. So if you got any questions, comments, send me a message on X, send me a message on Twitter, wherever you want to call it. I think it's about time to start walking in. But overall, I'm excited to see this team and excited to see how they perform coming out of the bye. I did put out while I got you, I did put out a new article on, where are you going, gimbal? Still messing with this gimbal a little bit. I did put out a new newsletter on capandtrade.football, so go check it out. It's not Texans specific. It's on the Garrett Bowles contract extension with the Denver Broncos. And then I do have a video coming out on the same topic, just a little bit different presentation on the YouTube channel here on Cap and Trade. I'll publish that probably tonight. Testing out a new just kind of presentation format. Be interesting to see the feedback on it. Other than that, I think we can call it a morning. Went 10 minutes, pretty good. Appreciate all the messages down below. Appreciate everybody stopping in. Hope you enjoy the game today. Hopefully the team comes out with a win. Hopefully we have something positive to talk about tonight. I'll have some thoughts posted during the day on @TexansCap on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So we're here, walking in. There's the stadium. Woo! Everybody have a good morning. Peace.